Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Greetings. Mark Miller here. Rory's on Skype with me. Say hi, Rory.
Hi, Rory.
How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad at all. Having a good day.
Good.
Had a nice, relaxing weekend. Did you manage to relax yourself?
Kind of. For the most part, yeah. I did some sneaky. I was on vacation.
You had a plan, didn't you?
Yeah. Codebase Alpha's in the chat room. Codebase Alpha, great to see you out here. I'm going to be streaming with Codebase Alpha. I think next Monday. I think if I'm recalling correctly.
Cool.
And in the past we had some issues with CodeRushed and live share. And by the way, Codebase Alpha, let me know if how the sound is. It looks like it's redlining for me here in my headset mic here. I just want to make sure I'm not too loud there. We had some issues with live share, and with there was some things that it was doing kind of uniquely that was essentially tricking CodeRushed into thinking that we were applying refactorings.
Sure.
It was just a unique way in which it was, I think, asking for what was available, and it was in a way that we thought somebody was actually applying it. So we made some changes to that, and we might be able to test that out live with Codebase Alpha show. So the live share is kind of a cool thing, and that's kind of what we do here. We're dog fooding CodeRushed all the time, and we're doing it essentially live here in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It says loudish. Okay, good feedback. Let me drop it down just a little bit. Let's see how is that. That looks a little bit better. My levels look better there. So let's kind of bring everybody up to speed in terms of what we've done so far. We're going to kind of take a break from what we were working on. We were working on the 3D dice. Let's bring those up here on screen so that you can see them. And what we essentially had a memory leak. I think I just invented a new term there. So there are the dice right there rolling out. And there are our special effects as they go away. Everything's still loading, so it just takes a minute for everything to come up. That's why there was some flicker there. But then there they go. And we have a variety of different special effects to make the dice go away. And my attention to detail is, wait, hold on a second, a couple things. One is I'm noticing I'm getting, don't have great lighting here on my blue screen. Let's try that. It's a little bit better. I'm going to have a little bit of trouble. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. And we have a variety of different effects, and we've got sound effects here too. So if we come up, there we go.
That's set it nicely. That's good.
And that sort of thing. So let's mute the site. Now we noticed we had a memory leak. I want to see if we can get it now, but without doing any other rolling. If it's just happening anyway, I think we are going to have it. We'll do take a snapshot. 12.6 megabytes, and we'll take another snapshot every time we roll. 12.8. Yeah, I think we have a memory leak, and I think it's because of some new code I had that I thought was cleaning everything up, but apparently it's not. Yeah, so there's our memory leak right there. You can see that gradually incrementing. I'm not going after that today. That's where we left off. I'm instead starting something new. I'm going to go after this later. I actually feel like I can aggressively kill this in like a short period of time, but for whatever reason, I decided I don't want to do it today. It's more kind of a gut feel kind of thing, and also the kind of code I want to work on today. Instead of finding a bug, I want to write new code today. Also, we give away copy CodeRushed every episode. We've given away over 100 copies of it so far. Last episode, we gave away copies to a number of folks who just asked for it at the end of the episode. And we're going to do that same thing again today. Among our winners, Link Slumps was out there, and I forget some of the other folks who were out there and won, but that is something we're going to do today. So if you are here when we end the show, we'll give you another opportunity to say, hey, can I get a copy of CodeRushed? And we'll be like, you bet.
Doesn't get any easier than that, people. This is a wonderful golden opportunity. Stick around with us, see how it works, see us dog food the product, and just ask for a copy at the end.
Right. You can also ask questions about CodeRushed as we're working along here. So okay, so that's what we've got. I'm going to shut down and let's do this. We're going to close this down here. And I'm going to shut down Mr. Announcer Bot. And I'm then going to manually restart these as well. So let me kill the remaining instances of Chrome. Let's start up Mr. Announcer Bot so we can control the scenes. Mr. Announcer Bot's here. Let's try the overlay manager as well. That looks like that started up too. Okay, so those are running independently, but here in Visual Studio, nothing's running so that we can make changes to the code. So what I want to do, Rory, this is, often I get inspired by by my thoughts as I'm, waking up or sleeping, whatever you want to, you want to say.
Some point between the awake and the sleep, there is inspiration.
Right. So today we're going to build a giant pillow monster that scares me and chases me into the, no, wait. That's not it. It was just after this I dreamt about a logger.
Right.
It was a logger.
Oh, a logger.
The pillow monster, no. We're not going to build that for this episode. But yeah.
So this is a guy in a big check shirt that chases you with an axe. Right? A logger.
Exactly. Yeah, okay. That's what we're building. And or we could build something that simply just this is like I'm just like as much as I am not a fan of certain folks who are in charge of certain countries, I smile every time certain folks who are in charge of certain countries make a mistake, and then they say furniture and future, or something like that, right? So they, instead of correcting, they just use the word and to add to it.
Because they meant both versions, obviously.
Yeah, so we're gonna do something that is a bearded guy in a checkered shirt with an axe chasing me, and something that sends messages out. So,
okay.
So that's what we're gonna do, and I want to be able to test this. So I think I'm putting it down in the core, is what I think I'm doing. That's kind of where I was also thinking about its own class, but I think I'm going to put it in its core. I should also say that while I had a clear picture of this in my dream state, right now I'm like trying to remember it. I'm like, wait, what is it exactly that was so exciting to me about it? But maybe we'll find out. So I think that's it. So let's come into D&D Core. I could right click here and say add a class, but I'm not going to do that. Let me just bring this over to here. I'm not going to do that because it takes too long and it, makes me, do all this stuff that's hard to do. Instead, I'm just going to open up an existing file. It doesn't matter which one. And I'm going to come in here and create a new class. And I think I'm going to call it history. Mm-hmm. And is what I think I'm going to call it. In fact, let me show you this. Since we've got some folks out there who just got CodeRushed, let me show you this. Let me undo this a second. If I start with a lowercase letter, it'll create a class. But if I do an uppercase C, it'll give me a static class. Same thing with functions and methods as well. So if I'm in here and I do an uppercase M, it'll give me a static method like there. So it just saves me a little bit of time. All right, so I'm up here. I'm going to call this history. And I'm going to create a function inside of here called log. Now, at this point, once I'm in a static class, I don't need to use uppercase letters anymore. Because if I just hit the letter M, CodeRushed sees I'm in a static class. It's going to add the word static for me. So I'm going to create a function here called log. We're going to take in, well, at the very least, we're going to take in a message.
Yeah.
However, here, let's, also I can use Alt up and down arrows to cycle through visibility, so I'm going to change that to public. However, the way I envisioned this is I envisioned the log entries as a result of things like, say, for example, I equip, in the Dungeons and Dragons game, I equip some armor, but I'm already wearing like a helmet and some chainmail, and or something, I'm wearing something like that. And then I put on some other kind of armor. Well, I've got to unequip the other pieces, so I need to say we're unequipping. And I need to go go put that out there. We're going to need, here, let me show you what I'm getting at here. We're going to need something called a log entry. This is the way I want to do it. The log entry is going to have, I guess, a property called message. Let's make that uppercase. I just typed in AS for auto-implemented string property right there. So we're going to do that. It's going to AD8 is going to give me an auto-implemented date time. D8 is date, and this is going to be the I'll just call that the time. Now we also have this idea of Dungeons and Dragons time.
Ooh.
Yeah. And let's go research that for a second, because I've forgotten how far I've pushed in this direction. I think it's called D&D time span is what I have. I think that's the thing I have, and I don't have anything beyond that. I just have this D&D time span class, and I'm pretty sure that's all I wrote in there. Once I get hash code. I wonder if CodeRushed has got that for me here. No. Roy, I'm not pressing Control Insert and expecting the CodeRushed the special declare menu to come up on that.
Is that Alt Insert?
Is that what it is? Guess what? It's Alt Insert. All right, great. I thought it was Control Insert for some reason. Maybe that's what it was in older binding. Okay, so I've got equality members. I think this is for. Oh, these are kind of cool. 2-string override. I wonder if that gets me my hash code. I think I've got a 2-string on here anyway. Let's see. Select the members to reference in the 2-string implementation. Count.
I imagine the equality has a get hash code implementation of some kind.
Well, I don't know. It looked like to me it was a double equals, which meant my interpretation of the equality members is it's overriding the check to see if one time span is equal to another. Here, we'll do that, and we'll show that. Yeah, that's what's going on there. So it's like it equals the other one. So that's not what we wanted to. I feel like we've got something in here for hash code. Maybe it's in the template or something like that. Get hash code. Let's go in here. If I click this button here, I can search for the text of the templates itself. So let's just look for the word hash and see if we see it. Okay, so, oh, interesting. Hold on. Maybe you were right, Rory, and that, look at this. The template says it's for the template for op equals is going to give me an override on get hash code. Am I just... Oh, because we have this right here. I see what's happening. Okay. So, got it. All right. So, I've reoriented myself to this whole thing, and let's try one more time here. Let's use CodeRushed instead. I'm going to delete that. Use CodeRushed, set up the equality members, and let's do that. And let's compare what CodeRushed gave us versus what we had. So
just to quickly follow a post back as it were to the chat room. Yes, Links Lumps, he has hit Alt Insert to get that declaration menu up, and there's a number of items in there. One of which we're now exploring the implement equality, was it, or declare?
It was Alt. It was the here, I'll bring it up again. It was the equality members option.
Equality members.
Yeah.
This whole menu is all about creating some incredibly boilerplate. Well, I say boilerplate. It's not the same every time. It does depend on the methods or members that you actually have as to how some of this is implemented. So rather than you have to sort of go look it up, how does this work? These are the kind of features that you can just choose out of this menu and know that they've been implemented in a standard fashion. You can still go back and alter the code after the fact if you feel the need to, but it's a great jumping block for sort of getting going in this direction. And that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, here's the original code I had. So this is the original code. I think I just wrote it myself. I didn't actually alt equals it. And the commented piece here is what I wrote originally. So I basically checked to say, hey, if it's a D&D time span, although I do want to do this right here. Rory, notice how, and I'm totally blanking out on what this is called now, but where we declare the variable.
But effectively, you're declaring
pattern matching
and casting it into that as well.
Yeah, I think it's called pattern matching. And so what I want to do is I want to update the CodeRushed code when we generate this to do pattern matching here. so that I want this code to really turn into, here, you know what, let me copy the original into our chat window, so this is easier for you, because
Thank you
Rory
very much.
doesn't have access to that. There's the original, just pasted that into you, and I want it to become, that right there.
Sounds good.
And yeah, that's what I want it to look like. That. Okay, so you just got both of those. Now I had this equals span. Let's go look at what equals span is doing here, because we are just instead calling our equals, which is right here. Okay, and equals span was this. The original here, I'll put it on top so I'm consistent with what I was doing before. Time measure equals compare span dot time measure and count equals compare span dot count. So it looks pretty close to what this code is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But do I have an equals on the other one? No, I don't. It's on, well, it's on enum. I guess that is going to work. Time measure is an enum, isn't it? Let's double check that. Yeah, it is. Okay, so that's probably going to work without any change. And count is what? Count's an int. So that's going to work. So that code's going to work. All right, so the CodeRushed code is wins. It's better than mine. And it gave me also the get hash code here, which you can see is what's going on here. Okay?
Yep.
So to get all this code, so that's not bad, actually. The only thing I wanted to change is I wanted to use the pattern matching right here so we can get a variable name so it's a little simpler. Also, Rory, in the note, if the .NET framework that we're building against supports it, so it needs to be intelligent, right? If this framework doesn't support pattern matching, then we can't do it. Or
we need to check the language version as we're going.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, so there's my time span. So my time span has the ability to measure things in what? Let's look at this to refresh my. These are it's got a count and a time measure. And the time measure can be in actions, seconds, minutes, hours, days, forever, never, and instant. So instant and never in terms of duration are about the same. So that means we could actually add a time span to a regular clock time, which also means that, let's go back over to attack where we're starting our log entry. Let's go in here. We're going to hit the CodeRushed key, say move type to file, bring it to its own file. So now that's what I'm talking about being faster, right? It's now created a file called a log entry for me, added it to the project. I no longer need to right click, start scanning through menus to find add, then scan through here, click new item. Then
and you've got to go nowhere near the mouse either necessarily.
Yeah, and look,
right? And that dialogue has historically been very slow.
Look, and guess what?
Maybe better these days, but
also there's no focus in the name. If I type anything here, nothing's got focus. So I got to move the mouse one more time and click, and then maybe select and release. It's like, oh my God, I'm like dying. And I don't have time to do this.
The UI is actively trying to get in the way of you developing code.
Like to actively trying to kill me. Maybe not.
Sure, or that.
I might be kidding a little bit. But anyway, much faster to do that. Codebase Alpha says I use this all the time. Link Slump says email sent, FYI. So Rory, I think that's going to you on that.
Yeah, I'm picking up on that at the moment. That's why you can hear me typing.
Okay, great. All right, so here we go. So we've got a log entry. I think we also need a class called D&D time or time clock, I think. Okay. And I think it's a static class as well. Because there's really only one time is what I think. Is that right or wrong?
I can't imagine that you'd need more than one.
Well, for testing, I kind of want to swap out, but maybe I could just have this clock be also testable, where it is, well, here's the thing, it's kind of testable already.
You can't have static methods implement an interface, and I think normally what you do is you have an interface that defines the methods you want to have, and then you have a test version of that and a non-test version of that.
Yeah, I know that's what you do normally, but I'm also like totally okay bucking the norm and just using the time clock if it could be used in both ways. And in some ways, it is
Okay.
testable. And the reason why is because the D&D time clock doesn't advance like a normal time clock does. It advances in response to turns being taken. Like for
Okay,
example,
so you have to
combat.
instruct it that things have happened before it will measure that things have happened.
Right, exactly. So it's kind of a testable entity
That should
already.
work quite well, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's okay. So I think I'm going to, do this. Now it's going to have some properties in it. I think it's going to have I'm going to assume it's going to have a year, and it's going to have a month. Maybe a month should be, and I'm pretty sure haven't really researched this, but I'm pretty sure that God, wouldn't it be great if CodeRushed could do this for me? If I was like here and it just said, "Oh, well, I bet you want February," like that. You know what? Let me do this. Let's bring up an instance of. Let's bring up an instance of Google Sheets, and let's put those two in there, and just save me some typing in there. Let's move that over there. And let's see if it's smart enough to take those down, please. Oh, no. I
think
guess.
the commas are the ones causing the problems there.
Yeah, I know. I was hopeful. All right. Okay. That's what I want right there.
So we've got an interesting comment from the chat room. Rene A77 points out that with statics, you need to beware of tests being run in parallel. So if you're intending to store state inside your static class, and that we later want to run multiple tests in parallel, you may have one test set
Yeah.
up state that contradicts the needs of the others.
Yeah, Renee 77. That is a you want a copy of CodeRushed for that awesome contribution. If you want one, I will reach out to you. Just let us know, and I'll reach out to you at the end of the show. Rory, just remind me if you see Renee A 77 saying that. Normally we give them away at the end of the show, but if you give away something useful, you help us out in the chat room. Absolutely.
Plus, we help you. Simple as that.
I did not know that Google Sheets also has a function that lets you call Google Translate, Hugo. That's awesome. That's super awesome. Super cool. I love it. So something like what? Translate? I got transpose. I don't know. Google Translate. And what do I need? Can I get some IntelliSense, something similar? I don't know. I think I need to know. It's not telling me. Well, what if I do this? Do I get an error? There we go. At least I get an error.
Rene A77 has replied saying he would love a copy of CodeRushed.
Okay, excellent. We'll reach out to you, and I think it's word, comma, language. Okay. And so let's try that. Word, January into, let's go to French.
Portuguese.
See what we get. Value.
It's thinking.
I bet it's
well, it is a value of some
English
kind.
to
That is
French.
entirely true.
Let's try English to French. Huh. I bet we move this one around and we can get this to work.
Suggestion from the chat room, en-fr.
Oh.
So like an actual language and I guess colloquialism specification maybe?
en-fr.
Oh, man. Now, the en-fr would presume from English to FR, but that's...
Oh, look at this.
See there? It's FR...
Look at this. It wants to go... So...
I don't think ENFR is a destination. FR on its own. Oh, well, how does it? Because you can go ENGB and ENUS, for example.
Yeah, it is. I think it's thinking it's going from French into English. So,
Janvier.
Mon Dieu. Let's see if I'm spelling that right. Dieu. I am so not. I think it means my too. I don't think I did that right.
Too, that is.
There it is.
Well, there we go.
All right.
Fantastic.
So we got it. All right. So
the system works.
That's pretty cool. All right, not bad. Fun. Okay. Mon Dieu. There we go. Hugo Dahl is Mon Dieu. I'm like, let's get it right. Let's get it right. DIU.
Butcher as many languages as we can.
There we go. Love it. Nice. What fun. Okay, awesome, great, great. And Hugo, you've got a copy already. I think we reached out for you, and you've got one. So I'm going to move this over here. Move this type to its own file. I like to put enums in their own file. Hit escape to get back. We're going to change this type to that, and and then what? So now the question is, wait. Hold on. I feel like I'm doing like more work than I need to.
That's possible.
I think I'm totally doing more work than I need to. Hold on. This happens sometimes. I'm deleting months. That was fun exercise, but here's a new idea. What if the time was just simply a date time and we use that like this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, by the way, so hold on, Renee 77. With regard to testing in parallel, CodeRushed does support testing in parallel. Right now, I'm not exploiting that in this project, but it kind of feels like maybe it does make sense to not make this static. Then the next question, though, is where is it? Right? If we are going to use this time clock and everybody's going to rely on it, right? It's kind of got to be in a static location in a reliable place, which means it kind of has to be in the core. So I'm torn. I'm going to keep it static for now. If we run into testing problems, we'll change it to non-static, and we'll fix that problem then. I think that's what in fact, I'm kind of a firm believer of let's fix the problems when we've got them. The blog post where I learned about it, Hugo just put that in the chat room. Thanks for that, Hugo. Clark IO is here. Looks like Brian, are you raiding us? Did I miss a raid? If you did, thanks.
I did not see a raid.
Okay,
he's just here by himself. But
just
that's
hanging
fine.
out,
You're
Brian.
welcome here anyway.
Yeah, welcome to hang out always. Brian is super cool. He's like the coolest guy on Twitch, by the way. Now I don't see a lot of Twitch. I haven't seen every single Twitch person out there, but
Caveat emptor. Mark has seen maybe 3 people.
3 people, but Brian is the coolest person on Twitch. I stand by that until proven otherwise.
Absolutely.
He's super cool. Yeah,
Seems
he's
like a fair bet.
Yeah, he does a lot of fun stuff in his stream, and definitely want to check that out. The other guy I really love is InstaFluff. Holy cow, is that guy fun to watch? His code windows are too small for me, but other than that, he's got these little narrow, and he's scrolling left and right, but he's got a lot of stuff on screen. But he's fun to watch. He's kind of like therapy, right? He makes me feel so good about myself.
That's always good.
Yeah, it's good. InstaFluff is another guy I highly recommend. We've rated out to him a couple times. All right, so yeah, I'm just going to do this. And then I want to have a function here called advance. And guess what I want to take? I want to take a D&D time span inside of here. And let's grab that. And let's make that public. And now what I want to do is figure out convert this to a real time span. So let's create a new time span. So NTS is going to give me a new time span. And then I'm going to say create get time span. And I'm going to pass in that right there. And then I am going to say time plus equals time span. I think that'll work. And then let's declare this. And we're going to come in here, grab the that time measure enum right there. I'm going to cut that to the clipboard, and then I'm going to type in SW for switch. And then it's just going to give me that right there.
I love that feature.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That just saves so much typing, so much ceremony, and now you know the options that you have to deal with.
Right, exactly. So if it's instant, then we're going to return, get time span.
So we're getting a time span rather than adding it at this stage.
Yeah, but hold on though. CodeRushed gave me a date time here instead of a time span.
Oh.
That feels like totally wrong to me. Can you note the time and have a check on that? I want this to be a time span. I can fix this quickly by just TTS, but I want you to note the time, and I want to ask the devs about that. Why do they think that makes sense to do that? Hold on, let me undo this a second. Yeah, I'm not getting. Oh no, wait, hold on. I am getting an underline here. Yeah, something definitely didn't make sense about that. I want to review the tapes. Have the devs review the tapes at this time. Okay? I want to see what's going on. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's go in here. So instant, we're going to say return. So R for return. I'm going to say S. And is there a 0? Perfect. Okay. So if that's the case, 0. If the time measure is seconds, then we're going to say return time span from seconds and pass in DND time span dot count, like that.
Yep.
Are enums generated for both regular and flag types?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I suspect they are generated, but I'm not certain that the CodeRush understands currently that the flag types have different behavior in that they can be composited together, and therefore multiple things could theoretically qualify. Because at the moment, a switch statement kind of presupposes, mind you, I suppose without the break in place, that would be an interesting approach, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, it works on both. If it doesn't, it would be a surprising bug. But yeah, I'm sure it works on both because I've used this all over the place. The thing is, you often are using a switch statement like I am when it's not flagged. When it's just a regular one. Okay, so wait, there was something I wanted to do. Oh, I remember what I wanted to do. I wanted to just get a message out to Renee A77 before I forget to do that. And so let me do that. That's coming out. And let's get back over to work over here. I actually have to wait till it's done. Sending text over slowly. Huh. It says if my system is taxed. Sometimes we get to that state, but all right.
So we've got an interesting conversation going on in the chat room regarding the static, non-static suggestions. A few people suggesting a singleton, some regarding a static instance property. So the class is itself an instanceable thing, but has an instance property which can then work like a factory method and create the item that you want. So you can reference it from there.
And give it a different instance in a test window or something like. Well, you still have the same problem with testing, though. I think if it's got an instance, or alternatively, you... or wait, hold on. Let me read the messages here. By the way, the Michael Jolly says InstaFluff is like the Mr. Rogers of Twitch dev streams. Yeah, he's great. He makes me so happy. Memento pattern. I'm not familiar with it. Does it not apply to logs? Link slumps. I'm not familiar. I'll need a link out there.
The way I've seen this dealt with is with an inversion of control system, something like inject or
well, the problem with that is that now then all of these properties that are now easy to write become harder to write because I have to route them through the instance. I think, and so I'm still of the position. I'm still of the mindset that I want to do this after I see there's a problem. Because it's not going to be hard to refactor it.
Fair enough.
So that's what I'm going to do. So let's continue along our work in here. So we say from minutes right there. I want to get a little break here so these are easier to read. This is going to be from hours, like that. And this one's going to be from days. By the way, I wonder if we could have done this. If I had marked these two like this, and I selected those and I just hit Shift Enter on them, and then changed that to minutes, and IntelliSense is there helping me, and then I Shift Entered again. Oh, it got to hours here, but it didn't get it in the next one. Okay, that also mark the time. I want our dev who is working on duplicate selection. Mark the time on that, Rory. You got it? You got the time and everything? All right, get that to me. I want that to be smarter. Okay, all right. And if it's forever, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Infinite, so you don't so much... Well,
I think I am going to throw an exception. So I'm going to type in a TNE here for throw new exception. Cannot add forever Or, well, no, wait. Maybe I can get it. This is actually just getting the time span. I could return, what is it? It's out in system.threading, I think, right? System.threading what is it? Thread. What is it? Help me on this. It's not here yet.
I'm trying to think.
Will is the
One
one who
more
helped
level
us
deep,
out.
isn't it?
Will, where is it? It is the, it's one more level deep, and I'm forgetting which item it's on. Time out dot infinite time span. There it was right there. That's what I was looking for right there. So we're going to go grab that and return that if it's forever. And if it's never, well, what's going on with that? That may be a TNE. That may be a throw new exception. No.
So I get
time
instant.
span
That's this thing happens now.
possible.
We don't add any extra time. Actions. Okay, we have to add an action, then add an action. When we hit a counter of some description, then yes, we invoke. It's minutes, seconds, hours, days, dead easy. If something happens, I guess what's the usage? What's the client usage of forever and never?
Does this even work? You don't think so? Timeout. Wait, well, hold on a second, Rory. Two things I want to do. One is I want to change. I want to add one more to this, which is going to be turns. That's equal to 8. Let's get turns in here. Turns is going to bring in time span from seconds of 6 seconds is in a turn. Actions is nothing really. We can do multiple actions, and that's no time is essentially passing. So, in fact, I almost think actions should have been called turns. And then I could just do this too. And this 0. If it never happens, I'm going to, change this to that too, like there. So we've got those are our options right there.
Okay.
And let's go into get time span again. So now we've got it right there. What is your concern, Will? Bots working, drones and everything else are not. I see. That's not what's not working. What is not working? Let's try refresh and see if that helps. Sometimes I notice if I shut things down, here's the drone great game. I'm going to refresh that cache and then restart them up while OBS is running, the streaming software. Then we have this issue. Okay, so now I can advance by D&D time span. The only thing I really should check here is if time span is equal to this. Here, let's do this. Let's clean that up. And if it's equal to that, then I want to throw my exception, because this is where cannot add infinity. I tell this to my kids all the time. Infinity is not, plus is not defined. Operators are not defined for infinity. Cannot add infinity.
Then we have to give degrees of infinity.
Like that.
Which gets very complicated very quickly.
I just need this. Degrees of infinity?
Yeah. Positive, negative infinity.
Oh, right.
Squared infinities.
By action, do you mean standard move and quick actions? Yeah. So Codebase Alpha is asking about what's going on with actions. So this is for D&D. And so what happens is when there's a turn, as a player, you have multiple actions you can take during your turn. Mm-hmm. You can move. You can attack. Essentially, the duration of each of those actions is essentially nothing as you take those actions. It is... but once your turn is done, 6 seconds has passed. But then in combat, you've got multiple people that are in order that are fighting, and the next player or the next monster gets their set of actions that they can do, and during their set, essentially no time has passed. But once everybody has gone all the way around, it's called a round. Once a round is completed, 6 seconds advance. So what we want to do is we want to advance the clock by 6 seconds every time we finish everybody's set of turns. And I really want to do this. So one of the things I'm really looking forward to is the idea that the clock is actually going to tell you what time it is in your world. And it's going to advance that. So we need something to set it. Well, we could just directly set it, but I'm really thinking I want to make it a private setter. Is what I think I want to do. And instead, I want to create something called a method in here called set time. Like this, it's going to take in a VD8, gives me the date time parameter in there. We'll do that, and then we're just going to say time equals time, like that. And let's make it public. Okay, so we've got a D&D time clock. And
not actually made the field private at this stage. Was that your intention?
I did this.
Oh, sorry. Yes, absolutely.
So I don't need to do that. Yeah. Well, Roy, you're like a VB programmer, so you're not. You're.
Yeah. Historically, this is true.
I
didn't see you make the adjustment. Otherwise, that would have made much.
So there's the D&D time clock. Then that means that our date time. So this can be the. We need two things here. I think we need an actual time the message comes in, but then I think we also need a D&D time as well. Okay, like that. Which now, so that there's those two things. Now that means that inside our constructor for the log entry here, we can come in here and we can say, here, let's use CodeRushed to do this. I'll kill this. I think alt insert is also going to give me a constructor on there too. And we're going to say we really want to only construct a message in there. And that's the parameter. So it's giving us that. And then we can come down here and we can say actual time is equal to DTN for date time now, like that. Yep. And then we can say D&D time, that's going to be equal to our D&D clock, time clock dot time. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. It looked like I was, and it felt like I had no idea where I was going. And yet, it all makes sense, doesn't it?
You have arrived at a point of absolute sanity.
So now we've got log entry. Let's go back over to our history class, which I think is it over here. Yeah, we need to move that to its own file so we can find it quickly. Let's do that. Move type to file. Now I want a new observable collection of what I have on the clipboard, which is the dots, which is was the slash reference. I copied the other class to the clipboard, I believe. So if I do that, there it is right there. It gives me the log entry right there. So new observable collection. Let me do that again in slow motion so you see it. New observable collection. So N followed by the shortcut for the type I want, an observable collection. It's generic, so I put a dot, and then I specify what I wanted to hold. So if I wanted to hold strings, I just use the letter S, and it would give me that right there. That's what's going on there. How many times can you clean your room? Wait, I've got to scroll back up. You have to use psychology. How many dishes can you wash? Wait, what's going on?
This is a discussion on infant. Apparently, I believe Hugo Dahl's 5-year-old has been on an infinity kick for the last 6 months. So the answer to everything is infinity. At which point, despite being able to eat an infinite number of burritos and having infinite energy, the trick then is to ask him, how many dishes can he wash? Clearly, infinite is good. And how many times can he clean his room? Infinite is also good.
That's really funny. So my kids, we invented, so I homeschool the kids and I talked to them about infinity, talked to them about zero, and I said, what would be really useful, though, is if we created our own numbers. And so we invented two numbers. We invented one number, Lappy, and the other number is, it's not Plank, I think. It's something like that, though. Crank or Plank or something like that. But Lappy and Plank or Flank or something like Plank, maybe. I'm totally forgetting it. It was about a month ago. But we created two numbers, and one of them is very, very close to infinity.
Okay.
It's the biggest. Well, it's essentially the biggest number known to humankind. And Lappy is the smallest number that's not zero. That's positive, known to mankind. And so what we do is we use those. And what's cool about those is that you can actually, because they're actual numbers, you can say like, now let's divide by Lappy. 1 divided by Lappy is equal to Planck. Right? That sort of thing, right? The smallest number is, 1 divided by a very, very small number gets a very giant number, right? And so, and then the question is, well, what's 2 times Planck? It's equal to Planck because it's still the biggest number that we ever know. It doesn't get bigger than that. So it was kind of a neat, fun thing to do. Chat room's on fire, guys. Thanks so much for that.
It is.
I have to do that. I'm actually not looking at actual fire surrounding me. It's just a trick I do to make the show a little more fun. All right.
I'm incredibly proud of Entity Adam there, mentioning Googleplex, which always has to make an appearance in discussions of large numbers, I believe. Fantastic number.
You know how much I care? Lappy, says Hugo. Yeah. So... yeah, it's a little bit funny. All right, so we've got our entries now in the log, and let's just do that. Let's use Visual Studio to encapsulate the field. There we go. We've got that. I want this to be private, and what else? Static log. So let's actually get a log thing going here. So let's say entries dot add new log entry, and we're going to send message.
Yep.
Like that.
Which will of course capture the current time, both in terms of D&D and the real time. Package it all up and then add that to the list.
Which I like. Now, there's other things I was thinking about that I needed. Depending on what we were doing, I needed to some degree a sense of what item, like if we were doing I needed a way. I want to be able to show this in a list and then have actually people click on things to see those things. So we need for example, there might be a kind of entry that's a player entry.
Mm-hmm.
Let's create an overload of this thing. And let's pass in our own log entry. Like that. And like that. And instead of saying new, we'll just do this, I think. We'll try that. Because this now will allow for descendants. Maybe that makes sense. I'm not entirely sure I want to do that or not, but I'm thinking about who's the player, right? Who attacked who? If it's an attack, what creature attacked which other creature, right?
So you can have a hierarchy, which is a sort of a player log entry, which obviously captures the player and stores that internally. But then there's descendants of that, which is player attack log entry.
Yeah.
Again, you have a target and maybe a weapon that you've decided to use during the attack, and you've got all this gathered information.
Yeah, this is for future stuff, but I think the next thing I want to do is create some test cases for this, for both of these new classes that we've created. So I'm going to go into D&D tests. I'm just going to open up something here. We're going to create a new test class here. So I just hit the letter T, spacebar. CodeRushed is going to build the rest for me. We're going to call this our time clock tests, I think. We'll start with that. Whoops. Not sure what happened there. Okay, time clock tests. And test init, like that. Let's move this to its own class as well. Its own file, I mean. All right, and inside here we're going to say D&D time clock. Really? Why don't you see that? I'm pretty sure that's what I called it. D&D time clock.
So.
Just double check the namespace, make sure it's right. D&D core. I'm just not using core maybe from here. That's what the problem is. Okay. All right. And then we're going to say set time. And we are going to say, I guess I'll say now. Why not? Let's do this though. Let's introduce a local for it. And we're going to say now is equal to that. All right. And then I want to advance the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do it by a new D&D time span. And it's going to the time measure. Come on, there it is. Time measure. Let's do it by turns and 1. And then I want to do something along the lines of, it looks like the refresh worked. So
Yes.
note to you, Rory, and to myself. When I have started and then I shut down and then I restart, I need to refresh the
I think that's a
overlays.
fair theory, yeah.
Okay.
So in this case, you're presumably going to take the value that was assigned to now in the start and then add, what is it, 6 seconds? Because that's the length of one turn to it, and then assert that the current time of the D&D clock matches that value.
Yeah, I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use CodeRushed to declare local for this. By the way, this is something super awesome that CodeRushed helps with, right? So I just put the expression on here, hit the CodeRushed key, declare local. I think it'll work without the semicolon as well. So if I can just take that out on its own line like that, declare local, watch this. It's going to add, look at the preview. It's going to add the declaration on the left and the semicolon on the right.
That's nice.
Like that, right there. And so we're going to say the difference, like that. And then we want to say assert equal 6 difference dot total seconds. And then let's just run that.
This is good because we've written the code. Instinctively, we feel it should work this way. And rather than actually painstakingly going through it, we just ask the test, is this the case?
Yeah, normally we would, if we're doing TDD, we would make it so it would fail and we would add the code later. We'd start with the TDD side, but I wasn't really thinking that's what I wanted. I was thinking I wanted to create the logger instead. Test started. What's our slowdown? Took a long time to get that test to pass. I wonder if that was.
But it did pass in this case.
Yeah, let me try running one more time. I just want to see if we can reproduce that delay. Yeah, I am feeling this is this thing. I think I'm pretty sure we're going to see the same thing in Visual Studio's Test Explorer as well. Yeah. Yeah, one of our folders inside this project has got like 20,000 files in it. It was about 5 seconds faster. Let's see what Visual Studio can do on this. Let's go find that test. Time clock test, test init, run selected test. Ooh, they got it faster. They got it much faster. Take a look at that. Mark the point. They got it in this is our test runner stuff. There's they showing the actual time. They did it in about 8 seconds. See what happens this time if I do it. Oh yeah, this is important.
That's all right. We got it on record. We got the timestamp. We got all the circumstances. I'm sure the lads will get that fixed very soon.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that. All right, interesting. Good to see that. Okay, so we've got that one right there, and what else do we want to do here? I guess we can, everything. We can do a couple other pieces on this here. We can say. Let's go back to setting the time to, let's do this. Let's take this block, and now we're going to come down here. We'll set the time back to now again. We're going to advance by some number of things, by something here. Let's do instant, whatever, 5, and this, and this should be 0, because instant does nothing. And do a couple other, throw some other expectations out here.
Maybe this goes to a question from earlier. What is it that we're actually expecting the facilitation, the effect of using forever? Because at the moment, I think forever and instant have the same interpretation.
Well, we're not going to add them. The instant forever from this perspective do, but for other things they don't. So, for example, the D&D's time span can be used to measure how long a spell has an effect or a curse or something like that.
Right.
So that could have a forever, never ending. Okay, for
Sure.
example.
So it doesn't ever expire, and we check has expired because is
Right.
currently greater than forever, and will be no.
Right, exactly.
Right. Good.
We could actually make it so if you add infinity to anything, we could define it by using operator overloads for the plus operator on our. Well, I guess we'd have to create our own date time thing to do that. I'm not sure we can do an operator overload for an existing class or not. But yeah, so they have different usages. So sometimes the usages are from the standpoint of using combined with the operator plus, right? We're going to add to something, right? Another one is to ask the question, when does it take place, right? When does it take place? And then another one is how long does it last? And so that's why we've got forever inside of there as options.
Cool.
And we also have never in there as well. Like so these are all kinds of things that I found were useful as I was going through the D&D stuff. So total minutes should be 5, and we can try that now. We can go in there and run that. So let's continue to push and beat on this, and see what's happening. See if we have any more data on this.
He's awesome!
At 3 IDET. Entity Darn says Lappy is my machine name. That's awesome. Good times when problems are caught in all possible details. Definitely. So good news is it passed. Bad news is there's something slowing this down. Now the other thing too is that I do have a build of CodeRushed. So this may not be out in the wild. This may only be on my machine. I have an internal build of it. So we'll take a look at that. Okay, so that I feel is pretty good about that. That seems like that code is relatively functional. Now the logger. Let's do that. Now let's think about something useful for the logger. I feel like it's right now. We've created this great history class, but we're not doing anything with it yet. I think what I want to do, let's do one other thing. I think that from somewhere up on high, we need to remember what our D&D time is. Since we've created that, I think what we need to do is go over into our D&D app here, and in our main window app, we've got a entry for time right up here in the top. Basically, I've got these pieces here, right here.
Yep.
And I'm not saving these yet, but we have the ability to add a long rest, to add a short rest, add some custom, which I haven't implemented yet. And sample, I think, is we don't need this anymore. It's a sample effect. That's totally not needed. We can kill that. Actually, before we do that, let's use tab to next reference here to kill this, because we don't need that. And now come out here and kill that. All right. So I think what I want to do is I want to serialize this is what I want to do. But I have no clue as to, necessarily how I'm going to do this. And I think I want to also bind it. Can I use data binding here? I want to get data context just for the stack panel, I think, just for this thing right here. Can I do that? So let's see. Let's see if I know WPF well enough, and I don't, I'm not 100% sure I do, but I think it's going to look something like this. I think it's going to say sptime.dataContext is equal to our D&D time clock, right? D&D time clock dot time. Is that going to work or not?
Maybe.
I can't set context equal to a static class, I'm pretty sure. That's not, and time though, when time changes, is it going to be able to update itself? Because it's not, time is not it doesn't implement notify property changed, I bet. It does not appear to do that.
Datetime is going to be a struct, and therefore it's going to wholly change. You can't get a reference to it.
Yeah, and so I don't think when we update the time that these things are going to work. So I think we need some other way to solve this problem based on what I know about this. So that can't be the data context. I could create here's now where it becomes compelling to maybe create a new instance of the time clock. Fine. I'm going to create a new instance. All right, we did it. It lived that quickly. And now it is no longer a, let's see, we've got get time span here. Guess what I want to do? This doesn't belong here. This belongs inside of D&D time span. Let's go in here. Okay, so get time span, and we need to get that like that. All right, good. And this though is going to so I want to get rid of this and replace it with this. So I'm just going to rename this to this. Oh, don't you? It's not letting me delete that. It was an awesome trick. But Visual Studio wants to protect me and save me. Fine, we're just going to do that. All right, so there we go. All right, so get time span is there. That means back over here, it's going to be D&D timespan dot get timespan. Oh, and we need to get that back.
You're static here, so
There
you
you
can't
go.
reach to the instance.
Yeah, I was totally. You got it before me, Rory. Good job.
I was working through the same logic, saying that should be fine. Why is that not available?
Yeah.
Oh, look, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Excellent. So now we've got our. What's your exit time on here, Rory? Today?
About another 10 minutes or so. Quarter past is probably ideal.
Yes. You can still static if you want. Just do a static instance property. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I can, but the question is, I'm not sure necessarily where I want to do that on this, and I'm feeling so good about this thing. So now I want to. Oh yeah, but I need it here. I totally need it here. So let's do this. All right, let's do an instance of this thing. So we're going to do this.
Are you happy for it to be a D&D logger, or do you just want to keep it as a basic logger?
Yes.
If you want a D&D logger, then your constructor could potentially take a D&D time clock, which you could then refer to from within.
No, I'm kind of big on the instance thing. I think
Okay.
I'm pretty big on it. I'm pretty good on it. So there's our instance right there, and then we're going to say, and then we're going to come in here, and we need I think CCS is the template to give me a static constructor. We're going to say instance is equal to, in fact, I think I've got a template here, NINST for new instance. Wow, look at that though. That kind of did not work as, hold on, I wanted to make this static. Interesting, it was initializing the other fields, but because instance is for an instance, I want you to note the time on this. I just want to look at this because this is a real special case where normally this code makes sense. And, I'm going to say not really for now. So now we're just going to create so we're going to get an instance no matter what that everybody else can use if they want to. And we don't need this. All right, where are our problems is the next question. What's wrong with that one? Instances public.
Instance is not static. The property is it's an instance. Yeah.
There we go.
It's an instantiated.
That's it. Okay,
item.
got it. All right, excellent. Okay, so we have that. Let's see where our other problems are out here in time clock references. Okay, we need all of these to become instance. Okay, and that needs to be fixed. And
Dude,
what?
check out the chat room.
You can lift the time property. Yeah, I know. Okay, Harpine, let's go back. This is the thing I was saying I didn't want to do at the beginning, which is basically so the problem I have here, I guess, is so when you say lifted, I think what you're saying is static properties which map to the private instance. Let's take a look at it. Is that the only one we really have to modify? I want to double check to make sure my code here is good. So these are, so advance and set time. So what happens here though? Can I have both static and, I don't think I've ever done this before. I think I can do this. So I've got a static that advances as well. And then we're going to say instance.advance. Yeah, this is what I didn't want to do because I was thinking, oh, it's going to be gross and messy. But I think once I do it, the code elsewhere is good. Oh, no, it looks like I can't do it. Doesn't like it? Yeah, okay. So we are going to have to rename this instance dot. I guess we say advance.
But once
time.
you get .instance, will you not have access to the .advance on the instance? So you don't actually need the lines 39 through 42?
Well, I was just thinking, to save having to reference the instance is what I was saving, is what I was trying to save here. It's kind of like what I was doing with the time up above there too, or what I was trying to do. Whoops, static is what I wanted. Yeah, it's like, the whole thing is just, I've got to rename these. This is what I don't like about it, is I've got to come up with different names on these to do it, to make it work.
Isn't it just that you have a different usage technique from outside the class? So yes, you've got D&D time clock and you can go .instance, but you kind of gain a reference to that, which is, I don't know, my instance. And now you can go my instance .advance and .set time.
Yeah, no, I can do that too. I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of like back and forth on this is where I'm at on this. It's like, I either have an inconsistent way of dealing with this. What I'm really liking, I think part of the problem is that what I'm really wanting is I'm wanting to say, just basically, I want to treat it like it's a static, but I also want to be able to create an instance and have the same function calls on it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do this. I'm going to say D&D time clock. D&D time clock equals new D&D time clock, like that. And then I'm going to come down in here and do this. I'm just going to do that, I think. Jez actually allows you to do this. Hugo says, sadly, you can't have static and instant methods with the same signature. Yeah, I think that makes sense because I actually like the ability to not have to specify static or instance from within the class. In other words, inside the class, I can call either static or an instance without having to specify the class specifier in front of it. So I do like that. Let's see. So
JavaScript's a great language. There's practically nothing it won't stop you from doing.
I know.
Which is both awesome and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah. Now back over here, though, I'm going to kind of undo where I was going here. I'm going to undo this. I'm also undo the date time change too. No, I'm good right there. No, so we'll stay to there. I think we're good. Okay, so now let's run our test cases again. We're going to switch over to Visual Studio's test runner today and do that. Let's run them all, make sure they all still pass. JavaScript is also known as Rube Goldberg script. Link Slumps asks, so the static is for the overall clock and the instances are for status effects. I think I've pretty much, we got build errors here. These, so still got a problem here. Let's create a new instance here. So I'm going to cut that to the clipboard, come up here, create a variable of that type. So v/ like that. D&D time clock. Copy that to the clipboard, come down in here. NINST should work again to give me that. Yeah, that instance is, I guess we'll start with DTN for now, and then later we will, what's going on here with this? The set is inaccessible. Okay. Oh, hey, CodeRushed could help there. Rory?
Yep.
So I typed in new inst, I did an NINST, and it started giving me property setters here, but it didn't check to see if the setter was private. And if it does, it should just not give it to me. Let's look at that template and see what's going on there. I have a feeling it calls out to something else. Nope, we're doing a for each. So it's in the template. For each public property, we need, here's what we need. We need a for each modifier that says writable or something like that.
Yep.
That's what we need. I'm going to get that to you as well. Just this code here. So just send me a message on this. Writable. Like that. Okay. Yeah, so that's just a template in there that's iterating through the properties right there. So we'll say set time. I'm just going to do this instead. We're going to say D&D time clock dot set time. And we'll say now for now, but I think we'll put a to do here that's going to be save and retrieve time.
Fair enough.
Now I've got all these JavaScript error messages down here, but I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this one more time and see if we get a build here before we go in and run all the tests. Okay, ready?
It's not going to build in the main screen there, line 40.
Wait, line 40? Oh, you're right.
Equals dot time.
Yeah. Oh, but still now, though, at least now we can do this, though. So data context, this is where we all started from, right? There's that. Next now I want to do is, let's run all the tests. But the next thing I want to do is I want to go in to the XAML, and I want to see if we can get, this working so it sees the data from it.
Yes.
So we've set the data context here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I want to do it for SP time segments, I think is what I want to do. And there's where I want to set it. And
So we should just be able to access the properties of our data clock now.
yeah, that's what I want to do. So I want to come in here and to text year. And let's see if I can figure out the binding. Oh, I can't make changes because I guess we're running the tests. Is that what's happening? Are we running or not? It says ready, but it's
listed
doing this.
as read only at the top. So yeah.
I've got a ready on the right. Now there's a right beneath me, behind my video image. There's a compile issue right there. Let's go see what's going on with the output. Nope, that's not what I wanted to hit.
Build just failed.
Oh, what's my build?
Something was running.
That's not good. I think it is. Yeah, it's these cast errors. And what is, which I think means something is essentially locked up. This is my takeaway on this, basically, when, yeah, because it's looking at stuff out in the shadow cache out here. Oh, it's locked up because is it locked up because of the test running right here or not? What's happening over here? I wanted to run all, and it's not running it. Is that what is
Well,
happening?
it was trying to build it, but
It doesn't look like it's doing that now.
no, it's finished now, or at least broken out of that.
Let's see what's going on over here with Visual Studios. Let's do a run all on this. See what's happening here. Build started, restore complete. And I think my sense is the same thing's happening. It's just kind of locked.
Hmm.
All right, I'm going to close down. Oh, wait, no. I've got a progress bar to my right. Build failed. But I think I need to close down anyway. I have a feeling if I close down and restore that these errors are going to go away. Because basically it's saying I can't match one type to another. That's the same thing. So let's close that down. Let's start up a new instance of Visual Studio. See what happens. And I feel like in the meantime, I should be looking up data binding because I'm totally, not confident I'm going to be able to figure my way out of this to make this work. All right, run all. See what happens. Oh, and I didn't clean the project. I don't know what clean does, but I have a feeling it deletes shadow cache stuff is what I have a feeling it does.
Force and ignorance.
Yeah. Also, reminder.
Disclaimer. Mark doesn't know Jack.
What are my errors now? 6 errors. I like this. I like my odds. Here. Couldn't I copy botnet core? Because I'm running, maybe?
Because we're running outside of studio, aren't you?
That might be it. All right, let's kill it. Although I don't see it running. Where is it? It has to be running. Okay, here we go. Because I started in PowerShell, that's why. Okay, here we go. Closing that down. That just closed down. I'm going to also close down the overlay bot, I think, as well. Do I need to do that? Yeah, I probably do. There we go. That looks like that closed. And I will start those up in a second. Again, let's do a right over here. Let's clean the solution. Rebuild.
That's getting healthier.
Will Bennett says, I will avenge you, bot. Mr. Announcer Bot has left the building. Let's start up Mr. Announcer Bot again.
Down to 4 warnings and no errors, but the compile process is not yet finished.
I love this. Roy's giving me play-by-play on my compile. Isn't that awesome, kids? All right, let's...
I'm looking for the positive in this
Here comes
excruciating
Mr.
process.
Announcer Bot is coming back. And here comes the overlay. And then let's do the refresh as well. So we're going to
because
come
we
in.
need to do that, so we're in sync.
Okay, it looks like the drone game is refreshed itself.
Up to 8 warnings. Still no errors though.
All right, so I'm pretty good about. I feel pretty good about that. What did I do? I just did a build all or something? What did I
Restart
do?
a bunch of things and then a rebuild all, yeah. And now we can
right.
run all in theory.
Let's see what we can do.
Well, that was quick.
All right, good.
Test run. Ship it.
All right, good. Okay, so now let's see if we can get the over here. If we can get that time to show up in here from our that piece that we've got, and so let's click there, and let's get the data binding. Whoops, binding, and I don't remember since the binding isn't here, it's in the parent, is it still going to find its, I don't remember if I have to do something special here. That's the question. And it looks like maybe, you know what, I'm going to need to look this up, Rory. I think I'm not going to be able to get
I do
this.
remember that you kind of want a two-way binding. Because you want to be able to alter the text box and have it affect the value, maybe? Ooh, is that going to cause trouble?
Yeah, that's, I think, totally going to cause trouble. I don't think I can do that. I might have to solve this another way. I was going to, I was hoping I would be able to, yeah, I think I'm going to have to look up some binding here because I think I'm definitely not at a point where I'm going to be able to do this. So I'm going to undo this for now. Yeah, what you got? Dev Chatter wants to talk to you about helping him with some UI on his stream. Okay. Yeah, he reached out to me this morning or this weekend, I think, and said, asked a question. I sent him an answer back. Seems like a UML needs to be drawn. No, I'm not drawing a UML to solve this. No, I don't think so. But thank you.
And the nuclear option.
Yeah, that's a nuclear option. Yeah, so I think, oh, wow. Yeah, these I think should not be text boxes. I think it's just add custom. I think these should not be two-way. I think they should be text blocks is what I think they should be. So I'm going to just come down here and change them to text blocks all the way down like that. And
are you allowed for a text block to have a literal component and a data binding item? Because if you could do that, you could have half as many of them. You could just set the initial text block text equals year colon and then data bound piece of information.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying on that, Rory.
Well, at the moment, you've got a text block for a label, and then you did have a text box for the value to accompany the label. I'm just sort of opting for a calculated label.
Yeah, and I think I get what you're saying here. And I'm kind of with you on it. I'm kind of thinking this is what I'm thinking about right here.
Of course, because you want to be able to extract back out the actual value, and otherwise you'd have to parse away the phrase time colon. That'd be annoying.
I think I'm going to, at the very least, I think I'm going to do this. Let's do two things. Let's do a couple things here, actually. Let's double click on this, get our add long rest button there. Let's double click on that. We'll get the short rest there. And there's our time. I think what I want to do is I want to update that time every second is what I want to do. Which means I need to add a timer, and gosh, I haven't added a timer in years to an app. What do I got in here? System Windows Forms, I've done it, but I think I want to do it. I think I can do it in, with WPF, I can think of do it in threading. What's timers? Let's see what we can force our way through this one right here. What does it need? Callback. What else do we got?
Well, then it suggests he thinks there's a dispatch timer or something like that.
What's the due time? This is weird. Okay, we'll just say update clock. Like that. That's going to be our callback. Our state data we'll say is null. Due time. The amount of time to delay before callback is invoked in milliseconds. This is before we start. Okay, I gotcha. So I'm going to say 0 for now. I'm going to move this, but I'm going to move the constructor to after we load up. And then the period, the time interval between invocations of a callback in milliseconds. Okay, got it. So this is going to be 1,000. Okay, so there's our update clock. There's our timer. I'm going to take this. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to. I think we need a loaded event handler, and I'm not sure we have one yet on this.
All right, Mark. I'm going to have to take this opportunity to disappear.
All right, buddy.
Just noticed the time, and I am somewhat past where I said I would be.
All right, buddy.
But that's okay.
No, thank you so much.
Catch you same time tomorrow.
Same time tomorrow. We'll see you, Roy. I really appreciate it.
Excellent stuff. See you then, Bob.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, so now we're going to create it here. Then let's use CodeRushed to declare this method. There it is right there. There's my update clock call. And now I'm going to say text.time.text is equal to, and then let's grab our D&D time clock like that. What do we got out here? Break class. Wait, what? Wait, hold on a second. Is there a dispatch timer? Oh, yeah. I want to be on the UI thread when updating. Let's take a look at that. The mark didn't work, did it? Let's bring this up. That's right. I'm remembering this now from my WPF training, which consisted of me reading a book about WPF. That's what we need. Love it. Way better than what I was doing. That thing I said I knew what I was doing, this is way better. All right, let's declare it. It's a field. Like that. There's my dispatch timer. Just clean this up a little bit. And let's use CodeRushed to declare that for me. Okay, kill this. And whoops, I want to get that bit right here. And then this is going to be dot time dot to short time string. I think it's the long time string is what I want. And that, I feel like, that means that if I were to run this, start a new instance of that right there, CodeRushed may be omnipotent. Is that the right word? I'm going to say no. When this thing is connected to my mind and I'm just not touching the keyboard and code is flying out at high speed, I'll be like, we did it. All right, what do we got here? We got that blocking our UI. Why is it not updating though? Really, no matter what. Okay, I got to do this to there we go. So it's not updating. Did I do something wrong here? This is the I was looking at the examples. Yeah, so second. So every second, there it is right there. Are we coming in here? We are. Oh, the time's not advancing. That, of course, makes sense. Okay, cool. Now, let's keep running. Right. Let's add a long rest or a short rest. And let's come in here. D&D rules, short rest, long rest. At least 1 hour long. Okay? And a long rest, as I recall, is 8 hours long. But I could be wrong. At least 8 hours long. Okay, so click the button to add a short rest. And we're going to say D&D time clock dot advance. New D&D time span, time measure dot hours 2. Like that. And let's do this. Let's extract this method, update clock. That. And I don't think it means plus a 2d20, 8 hours plus 2d20. I haven't seen that for a long rest. Just can't be any interruption. Whenever I've seen it, yeah. All right, so there's our advance right there. And then this one, we're going to come up here and advance by 8 hours. Like that. And I think I need to do something else here. To do update character stats. And I need to do the same thing here. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. If I'm going to do that based on the time, like we've just noticed. So now if I come in here, so now our time is 1:27, 1:31 p.m. Add long rest goes to 9. Add a short rest, it goes to 11. It didn't update it as quickly as I was expecting it to, though. It seemed like it was slow. Oh, because I didn't call update clock. That's why. Let's set a breakpoint. Update clock. Update clock. Go. Can you imagine 8 plus 40 hours rest? Yeah, because I have young kids at home. Sounds like the time between weekends, Hugo. Unfortunately, my job experience is in VB, says Link Slumps. Okay, so now if we come in here, we should see a faster update here. Add long rest. There it is right there. Add short rest. Good. I don't have the date here. Not liking how that display is happening there. I need a long date time is what I need here. Let's change this here to long. Does the date string give me the time as well? Is that what I'm looking for? Nope. I got to do both. I'm so used to JavaScript when I'm like JavaScript or TypeScript, where I can change while it's running. See how that looks. All right. Add short rest. There we go. Good. So that's pretty good. I am actually, I was sitting here thinking I need to do the interval because it's going to be advancing, but I actually don't necessarily need this. I could update this whenever we make a change. Update clock. That's what we could do. In fact, we could create an event inside D&D time clock that when it changes, this might be useful. We update the clock automatically. Let's go do that. Now this is low level stuff, so this is just going to be a regular event, and we're going to create an event. Okay, let's close this down. And actually, would have been fun to see if we could do that with edit and continue. But let's see what we got here. Let's create a new event, and this is going to be. The question is, am I going to do a custom handler on this to see what the old time was? Does that anybody care? I'm going to say no. Time changed, like that. Let's create an event trigger for this. So CodeRushed will do this for you. If you have an event like that, you can create an event trigger. Just decide where you want to put it. And there's our event trigger on time changed. And then now what we want to do is something along the lines here and set time. We want to say, hey, if time is not equal to time, let's do this instead. Need to trigger change event equals false. And then we're going to, or no, is equal to that. Then we're going to set them. Oh, no, wait. It's even easier than this. Hold on. If time equals time, then we just get out. Otherwise, we set it, and then we call on time changed. Passing in this, and our event args, EAE, event args empty. That's what I did right there. That's CodeRushed. It's got that template, EAE for event args empty. Okay, so on time changed. that now means that over here, we can kill our dispatcher. So get rid of that. Get rid of this. And then we're going to time changed like that, and then we're going to call update clock. Let's catch up on some of the chat stuff over here. C# is just like VB, but with fewer parentheses, more curly braces, and no single quotes before the semicolon. Yeah, arguably true. That was a nice way of putting it. A particular person didn't let us use regular programming languages, to be unnamed. Yeah, it's true though. Heresy, Hugo, heresy. Do you email your mom with that keyboard? Nice. Nice. Hugo says yes, but not as often as she'd like. Yeah, classic. I'm sorry, that's in response to Hugo's question. Was it VB.NET or Classic? Okay. Well, Ben says I used AppleSoft Basic back in the day. I think Basic is good for learning, not for enterprise though. Well, I think I think C# kills it in the Stack Overflow area. If you are asking for a question, I'm finding many more examples on C# than in VB. And so if you're in VB, you're often translating, I think you often find yourself translating the C# answers into VB in your head, which slows you down a little bit. So from a standpoint of getting other people's input on problems, I think that happens. Looks like Dare Albert Live is rating with a party of 7. Welcome. We are in the middle of writing, I say in the middle, actually, we're about to wrap up writing a logging and a D&D time clock for managing the time inside a Dungeons & Dragons game. And so that's what we're doing here. Hugo says, gotcha, to be fair, where I work, there's still a lot of VB6 code not in the group where I work, unfortunately. Yeah, coders definitely do not like that work, and for good reason, says Link Slumps. So cool. Thanks for the raid again, Dare Albert Live. How was your stream? I'm not familiar with your stream. I have got to check that out. I have not seen that stream yet. All right. So now we've got our event on that, our time changed event. We can do. We've got a call directly to update clock. We've removed our dispatch timer. It's so funny, like we go forward, we were using a regular timer, then we went backwards, we used a dispatcher timer, and then we went backwards again. We said, we don't need a timer at all for this. We can just only update it when it changes because our clock is only incremented when the game is played. Right? When certain actions take place on the game, like everybody has gone through their actions, taken their actions, and the round ends and we start the next round, for example, in Dungeons & Dragons. Or we take a rest, that sort of thing. So so there we are. Let's take a look at it. You know what I want to do? I want to add one more button up here, though. And what's going on with add custom? We haven't built that yet, but I want to add short rest. And I want to take that, and I want to say advanced turn. I want to create another button here called advance turn. Now, normally there's going to be another button that does this, but for right now, for testing, that's what we're going to do it. So this is going to be advance this, and then this one is going to be turn, like that, advance turn, and its click is going to have its own click handler. Let's go look at that. Advanced turn, we're going to come in here and we're going to say, so now guess what? Cool, we get to get rid of these calls to update clock. Update clock. Also, update character stats can now happen in our update clock method. Very cool. Because now the time has passed, so we might be able to now change things. Like, for example, if you've rested, you're good, right? Which also means that we could do this too. Check this out. We could say resting equals true. Hold on. I got something on line 200. Dispatch timer. Remove the dispatch timer tick line 200. Oh, that right there. There we go. It's gone. Did I get, hold on one second. Let me drop a marker. I'm going to come back to this in a second. D&D clock change. There's my update clock call. That's what I need to update player stats. In right here. Probably there is where I want that to be located. Okay, jump back to my marker. Resting is true. I'm going to wrap this and try finally. So I select that line. I've got CodeRushed. I hit the letter F, and then I just paste in. Actually, I want to use a template SF because it uses what's on the clipboard, sets it to false. Let's declare this as a field. Right there. There's resting. Set it equal to false. But now what's cool on this is that now advance is going to trigger the time changed event. Now I can do something along the lines of if resting, right, like this, then do what, update character stats, for example, like that. And then I also want to say update curses, spells, and diseases or whatever, things like that, right? The things that are time-based elements as well. I want to do those as well here. Okay? So, all right. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to do, there's add long rest. I'm going to copy that, add short rest. I'm going to paste it in here, change that time to 2. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm going to extract this method, call it rest. And can I promote this? Nope. All right. Time. That. That. So rest for 2 hours. And then this one is going to be rest for 8 hours. Like that. Yeah, I can Will Bennett's asking declare local and then promote. So the question was, here, let me just do this. I'll undo this a second. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do in those cases. If it's a string, I can go right out there and promote to parameter, but I can come in here. And the thing is, I can't even declare local from here. I think I can come in and declare constant on this thing. Yeah, no, that's not what I want to do. Hold on a second. Wait, I've got promote to parameter now. I didn't see it before. Maybe I just missed it. And then hours, yeah. So that's what I wanted to do. I was looking for promote to parameter on there. Didn't see it. Okay, and there's a rest. So now if we save everything, advancing the turn should advance it by 6 seconds. Let's go ahead and into the debug menu, say start new instance. With this, once this works, we're going to give away a copy of CodeRushed, and I will raid everybody out to another set of folks because I got to go run to the airport and pick up a kid coming back. Wait, what's my error? Window loaded? Because I got rid of it. Okay. Try again. Debug, start new instance. Oh no, I've got this again. Was it going to run? Exception. Oh, update the clock. Because it is, Can't rewind that. Well, that makes me sad. Okay, so let's stop it. And let's just do this. Like that. So INR with whatever's on the clipboard, or INX like I just used. So if null, then exit, or if null, then return. Let's try one more time. Debug. Start new instance. We're starting up. Here we go. So time is 1. Oh, time never updates at the beginning. So we kind of have a slight problem there, but I'll add a short rest to it. Whoa. That's not working. I think I made some assumptions that the advance was going to trigger this thing. Time plus equals time span. That's why. I'm pretty sure that's my problem. Okay. Boom. I need to call set time is what I need to do. That's what I need to do. And I think that's going to call it. There we go. Now it's updating. So we can advance the turn. It should only go up by about 6 seconds right here. Advanced turn not working. Why is advanced turn not working? Maybe I didn't add any code to that yet. That's why. Set a breakpoint, advanced turn. Then we're going to say something like this. And it's going up by seconds, and it's going to go 6 seconds. There it is. And run. And there it is right there. Nice. So there it is. It tells us the game time right there. In fact, let's change that so it says game time. Game time like that. There we go. Game time. So now we know what day and year it is, that sort of thing. Now I'm not serializing that yet, but I got to do that. I'll do that sometime in the future, but we can add. There you go. I hit this like 3 times and then it advances to the next day. Short rest as well. So we're going to have our in-game time. The other thing I want to do with this is I think I want to have a visual showing what time it is as well. With the perhaps the sun and the moon and stars, that sort of thing, to give you a sense of is it nighttime or daytime, that sort of thing. Which color theme are you using? Thanks in advance. One Uksha is asking. I'm using the dark color theme in here, as I think Will answered already. Right there, color theme is dark. That's what I'm using. I sometimes switch with light just to test those out, but that's what I'm doing there. Okay, so here we go, kids. If you want a copy of CodeRushed and you don't have one, let me know right now in the chat room. This is your time to do it. Before I raid, I'm going to copy all those names. Everybody who says, hey, I'd like a copy of CodeRushed, now's your chance to do that. I'm also going to give away a copy of CodeRushed. We do this every show to one of our followers. And let's do that right now. It's time for
CodeRushed giveaway.
And today's winner is
Axel Cody.
Axel Cody. So I'm going to reach out to you. I'm also going to reach out to Perixan, AJ 2017. You guys are going to get copies as well. And I've already reached out to Renee A77 earlier. So thanks so much. I'm going to see who we've got out here that we can send you off to. Looks like nobody I'm following is streaming right now. So you guys are going out into outer space here. Sorry, kids. But thanks so much, everybody, for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. I think we're going to continue this, and I think we're going to get back into the 3D dice rolling tomorrow as well. Everybody who just said you'd like a copy, watch your DMs for a whisper from me in Twitch. I'm going to send that to you right now with instructions for how you can get your download instructions. Okay, and that's it. Thanks a lot, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow.